How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
That's amazing.
They're better every day.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I would like to call the regular meeting of the Nevada City Public Arts Commission to order. And today, for the record, is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, and it is 5:30 p.m. So I am going to ask Commissioner Negrete to read the Nisenan tribe recognition.
We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and that the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
Thank you very much. And if you'll all stand, I'm going to call on Commissioner Tudor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And next, this is kind of, oh wait, we have to do a roll call. Could I ask that the clerk do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Herney?
Here.
Commissioner Schwartz? Absent. Commissioner Clark?
Here.
Commissioner Tudor?
Here.
Vice Chair Negrete?
Here.
Chair Wilcox Barnes?
Here. Thank you very much. And
You
now,
missed one? I was told to wait on him.
He is here.
right, he is here. Yeah,
He's an official member.
we will
Gotcha.
recognize that Jonas is present with us, and now at this is an exciting time. I'm going to ask Neil if you would please come forward and swear in the newest member of our commission.
Jonas, you get to come up here.
Yay!
And I'll tell you, you're the youngest.
By 30 years.
Don't speculate.
Quite that.
Now the commission of the average of the age of the people you've sworn in.
Yes. Yeah, about 30 years.
This group is not
I know.
much younger.
They were barely turned 21. So I will read it and then follow afterwards. Will you just repeat that? It's very simple. You raise your right hand, please. I, and state your name, please.
Jonas Arias,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Neil, and Commissioner Ari.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I told you I'd mess it up the first time. Adrianis, is that right? Close enough? Welcome aboard. You've tipped the scale at this table, not only the average age, but also, even though we tend to be members younger than some of the council or the planning commission, but also you've changed our diversity quite a bit. And we welcome you aboard. I'm looking forward to having you as one of the commissioners, and would you like to say a few words just to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I would just first like to say thank you for the opportunity to even be sitting here at my age. That means a lot. And I don't know what to say about myself.
Well, we put you on the spot, and maybe next month, when we had our first meeting, we all went around the table and said a little bit about what we were looking forward to accomplishing on the committee and doing, and so if you want to give it a little thought, and next month, we'll call on you.
Yeah.
All right.
Jonas,
Great.
may I interrupt? Jonas, you're on with the Youth Commission, aren't you? I know that I met you at the Business of Art.
Yes.
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 And we're all really excited from the perspective of Nevada County Arts Council to have you with us.
Thank you.
It's very exciting. And yes, we have put you on the spot, but it would be great. Like, come back next time with a little paragraph.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And now, moving forward, we have a presentation this evening, and I would like to call on Solomon Bassoff to present the Art Pavilion idea.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to share with you the Art Pavilion. I've been a public artist for 21 years. Fiduci, the name of the public art business that these sculptures around the United States, libraries, zoos, parks throughout the United States. Also as a developer for 20 years in Santa Cruz. So that wealth of experience of developing and public art has led me to be involved with a group of visual artists. And the intent is to create a visual arts center that represents just the Nevada County visual artists. We have formed a nonprofit, we have our EIN number, we get our final declaration from the state of California for acceptance as a nonprofit. In the meantime, in 5 months, we've moved forward as a board to look for a location. We have a basic design I'll share with you tonight. And again, the intent is to represent the Nevada County visual artists with this brick and mortar building. So I'll quickly give you kind of an overview of what it looks like. I'm going to start at the back of the building and move towards the front. In the rear will be a sculptured garden. Walls are ferro cement, which is a concrete wall around the rear of the garden. Sculpted wall, benches, chairs built within the wall of the garden. All the wall will be decorated by the Nevada County visual artists, murals, mosaics, poetry on the wall, a place to do graffiti on the wall. So imagine a fully enclosed garden. The garden itself would have sculpture available for sale by the Nevada County visual artists. There'd be areas in the garden for a small spoken word concert to happen. Clamshell so it keeps the sound contained. There will be the possibility of, like KVMR has the Sages among us, so a place where that could happen within the garden where the community would come and speak to members of the community who have some experience or wisdom to share with the other members of the community. Let's see, possibly a labyrinth. I think your next mayor of Nevada City is experienced building labyrinths. He's actually president of the Labyrinth Society of the United States to do a labyrinth. So the idea is to do a destination garden where members of the community can come and be inspired and interact with each other within the garden environment. And there's, again, sculpture done by the Nevada County visual artists within the garden itself. The main building, the concept of the building, will be under the inspiration of Gaudi, Unterwasser. These are both architects and artists that do. Okay.
Because some of those pictures are in there.
There you go.
Sorry.
Great. So they do very curved designs. I've spoken to Pella Windows, Anderson Windows, they have what they call the boneyard. They have windows that are rejected for the right color, the right size. They're happy to donate to a nonprofit. So the idea that the building will be very sculptural in its appearance. That's the exterior of the building. On the interior of the building will be a gallery space, again showing only the Valley County visual artists in the gallery space. There will be museum space, so we aren't the first ones doing visual art here in the Valley County. There's a whole heritage, a legacy of artists. Spoke to Hank Mills, and gave the name of 5 deceased artists. All their work is in storage. So opportunity to bring that work out and to share with the community the heritage and legacy of visual artists in the Valley County in the museum of this building. There will also be a store, not to sell Chinese erasers, but again, to represent visual artists, paintings, ceramics, glass, all the visual arts of the Valley County will be for sale. There will be a workshop space, so workshops for dispatched kids, elders, members of the community as part of the building. There's a great need for a conference space in this community, from 10 to 50 people. So that will be a conference room, a source of income to help support the center, and a place where it can be rented out for conferences. Will also double as a workshop space when there's not a conference. And thirdly, will be a home for the tapestry of North San Juan. There's a tremendous tapestry that was done, took 10 years to create, and it shows the history of North San Juan in Needle Point. It's in storage. This will make a home for it. Will be displayed behind plexiglass, protected, QR code on the wall. You walk in the room, so it'll give you a verbal oral history of what the tapestry is that you're looking for. So that's the conference room. Also in the building will be a full cafe, indoor-outdoor cafe. If you've been to Loomis, High Hand Nursery, and a similar type of a cafe. It's a greenhouse, and then a cafe on site. So again, we're looking at the museum, we're looking at the gallery room, store, the workshop room, conference room, and the restaurant facing the garden. That's within the main building. In front of the building will be a carousel. So a full 40-foot diameter carousel. We're able to get the basic structure of the carousel. There's 2 companies in the United States that are making a carousel. We'll get the structure will be housed within a building, so it's available year-round. Visual artists will make all of the animals, all the benches, all the parts of the carousel. Graphic artists from the Valley County will do all the graphic artists, art on the carousel. There's a person in our community that does pipe organs. So speaking about doing a pipe organ for the carousel. The Valley County composers will compose music for the carousel. So it's it's an immersive environment that when your family comes to town, when you're having a down day, you come to the art pavilion. And at the art pavilion, you'll be able to go around the carousel, be totally immersed in the arts of the Valley County. You'll be able to go into the store and purchase art, to the gallery, you'll go to the museum and see the heritage, and you'll go to the garden and be inspired and be able to see different events in the garden. So it's a total immersive environment, visual arts of the Valley County. I welcome any questions.
Do any of you have any questions to ask for clarifying? This is not a topic on the agenda for discussion, and we've received a lot of information, especially in the packet. Thank you. Do you have a question?
I wasn't clear, do you have the land already, or where this is planned?
It will be in the Valley County. We're looking at various sites. There's one particular site that we'll begin negotiations on soon, but we think is a very good site for this. So we need to have sewer because of the kitchen, so close to the city in that way, water obviously. We want it to be very visible in the city. And that, of course, traffic would be concerns that are negatively impacting neighborhoods. So we're looking at various sites, just one particular that we're should begin negotiations soon. Also, in terms of design of the building, we're looking at a charrette, which is when a group of designers and artists and architects get together to do the design. So within the whole spirit of what we're working on is to have the community of architects and designers create this building for the community.
When you say first in Nevada County and then the city, are you distinguishing between Nevada City, Grass Valley, Truckee, or are you just saying that the city in a general term?
City in a general term, again, there's not a location that will stay at this point, but it will be within the city limits of Grass Valley or Nevada City.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think this would be a good thing. Jonas?
I was wondering, so I heard you say something about workshop spaces. Is that for everyone is welcome in the community to come and use? Is it rented space, donation based, or free use space kind of thing?
So it would be workshops given by the Nevada County visual artists for the community. So it would be for disadvantaged kids, elders, general members of the community would be able to partake in the workshops.
As I said earlier, it's a lot to look at and digest, and I think we should receive what you've just given us, process it a little bit, and then if the commission wants it placed on, or you want to come back and put it on as a topic where we can actually have more of a discourse with you and public input and whatever, I think that would be a good idea.
Are we allowed to comment? Are we allowed to comment now?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. No, Solomon, I just wanted to say, you visited us about a month and a half ago in the office, and it was great the way you laid out everything. It's so clear that you come from sort of like a business mindset, and yet you're a mad artist at the same time, which we love. And I love the fact that you've created like instantly and naturally a business plan for it, and that you're speaking to so many people in the community. It's amazing. Like everywhere I go, like, have you heard about the pavilion thing? Have you heard Solomon's latest thing? So keep up the good work in terms of community engagement. It's exciting.
Thank you, Eliza. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a very heartfelt project. It's amazing the residents, as I've shared it with about 70 people in the community at this point. I just met yesterday with Gary Snyder and Tom Kelly, and they were together and shared it with them, and they were just very supportive and excited about the project. I think, I don't know if it's because of COVID or just our longing to be together in a space that we can be creative, inspired by, but it's not conflict. And it seems to have really resonated in the community with just a deep need for having connection with each other, to be inspired, and the visual arts can be a portal for that to happen. It's been very, very exciting. So thank you for the opportunity.
Is there a way that you are having updates for people? Is there a website, a social media page?
So we're working on that. We have a marketing PR committee, and that will be coming soon. If you want to be in touch with me personally, through Sean, my contact information, I can put you on the email list of people I've just spoken to. I send them updates as things progress. And eventually we'll have the website and all that in place. Right. But in the meantime, if you have questions personally for me, I think Sean would be good to contact, or Eliza, both have my contact information.
Thank you.
Good
I know
idea
this
that-
isn't an agenda item, but just in terms of like making this proposal more attractive, I also want to commend your time, and this looks so cool. I've never heard of it. I am not one of those 70 people, but I'm really attracted to the idea. And I would just highlight, I think it'd be interesting to understand kind of like the building material, like recycled piece of it, regenerative sustainability piece in your presentation. And I'd also be interested in knowing kind of like whether or not it's like signed on partners, but who it is exactly, who's working on this project, organizations you're collaborating with, partner people you're consulting when you talk about engaging the community, because I think it's one thing to like have an artist community, but then when we talk about doing art for disenfranchised youth, for example, like how are we getting that information, would be something I'd be really interested to hear about. But generally speaking, this is really beautiful and super inspiring. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've spoken to many organizations in the community, and many people are very excited by this. I mean,
Cool.
I did this could really, it's about representing our community and everyone in the community. I think will have a part in the creation of this. So I invite all of you to participate.
Thank you very much. And Sean,
Thanks,
could you, as you get updates, could you forward those on to the commission members so we're
Absolutely. I
on
will do
top
that.
of it?
I will share Solomon's contact information, and so if you want to get on that distribution list, and if not, then I'll provide everything that he sends as we go. And Madam Chair, with your permission, our Nevada County media partner in the back room needs a couple minutes with our microphone, so if we could get coffee and cookies.
You,
and
I don't know
invite
about the
Al
coffee,
to
but the
help us
cookies are there.
Take a couple minute break.
Okay,
Thank you.
we will take a few minutes. Thank you very much for your presentation, Solomon, and we'll take a few minutes. And Madam Clerk, could you show that our Commissioner Schwartz has also joined?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Wrong one. Hey, I'm learning. Are we ready over there? We ready to go back online? Yeah. Okay.
Ready.
So we'll call back to order. And the next item on the agenda, we have our consent agenda. And all items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Before we take action on the consent agenda, we will hear any public comment on consent calendar items only, including any requests to pull consent items. Do we have any public comment on a consent item?
Or public comment at all.
Any public comment? Don't,
Skip that one, but that's
public comment at all, did I?
people in the room.
Oh, I did, I missed the public comments. Let me back up, do I read that whole paragraph?
You don't
Or
have to, you could just ask if there's any public comment.
is there any public comment out there? I skipped right over it. All right, seeing no hands, seeing no one approach the lectern, consent items. I'll be looking for a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. You have a motion?
Second that?
We have a motion and a second. The motion was by Commissioner, yeah. Any,
Yes.
I will learn your name, I promise, Jonah. Would you call the roll call, please?
Commissioner Arias?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Aye.
Commissioner Harney?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor?
Aye.
Vice Chair Negrete?
Aye.
Chair Wilcox Barnes?
Aye. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Consideration of the Bear Yuba Land Trust Celebration of Trails Art in Nature Installations Project. Do we have anyone here representing the Bear
I will
Yuba
kick it off,
Land
Madam Chair,
Trust?
and invite Annette to come up to the lectern. She's gonna have to use the hand mic. Kyle got it fixed for us, but last year, Bear Yuba Land Trust created an art and nature program coinciding with their month-long celebration of trails that takes place throughout Nevada County in June. They're continuing the program this year. Of course, in between their first iteration and this iteration, the council adopted a public arts ordinance and a public arts policy. Last year, they awarded one of the two sites was on a Nevada City Trail. It could be this year, we don't know for sure, it may not be. We certainly don't want to get in the way of art that's already in progress. At the same time, we'd like to, follow through with what the ordinance and the policy says. So we've asked them, and they graciously agreed to come on very late notice to come be here tonight with the hopes that you would hear what they have going on and recommend that the council approve it for this year, and in future years we'll engage much earlier in the process. Not their fault, not the Bear Yuba Land Trust's fault at all. Nobody's fault really, but if you want to blame someone, blame me. If you like it, then Bear Yuba Land Trust. With that, I'll give it over to Annette.
Thank you, Sean. It's working. Yes, so my name is Annette Muller, and I'm here representing the Bear Yuba Land Trust. And yes, we are in our second year of arts and nature installations, and as part of our Celebration of Trails event, full, all month of June throughout Nevada County, a bunch of different events. Apart from arts and nature installations, we're also doing poetry on the trails too, so we're excited about that. So lots of arts being out and about onto our lands. So art and nature installations, so this is the second year. We put out a call to artists, the Arts Commission helped us, and all local artists applied. We had about 6 people apply. We just closed the application process on Monday, so we have yet to choose the artists for the projects. But as Sean said, the opportunities are for some local trails and also some trails, all local, but some here in Nevada City and some in Grass Valley. Here in Nevada City, it's Hirschman's Trail out of Hirschman's Pond. Last year, we also did Cascade Trail. We have Independence Trail East, but I don't think that would be viable for this. So we're mostly looking at Hirschman's or Cascade. One of the projects that's up for consideration is by Peggy Wright, a local artist, and she's interested in doing what's called, she's looking to do a nest. This is just to give you an idea of kind of some of the things that we're thinking about. So about 5 feet diameter, that I'll just read what she put together. 5-feet diameter nest that symbolizes protection and nurturing. Like a natural nest, the BYO Teddy itself serves to preserve our environment for future generations. My sculpture would be constructed of intertwined material gathered at the site of installation, emulating a bird's forged materials. To create community, I will invite viewers to add nearby twigs and plant material to the nest as it develops. This will encourage shared ownership of the project and BYO's mission. The projects, whatever we choose, wherever they are, the idea is that they will install them during the month of June at the beginning. We'll invite people out to witness the process, and then it'll be up for the month of June. We'll advertise it, people will go out there, and then in this term, then there'll be some interactive possibility for that. So, yeah. Kind of the gist, like I said, unfortunately, we don't yet have the projects chosen or the artists, but they all are local Grass Valley, Nevada City artists that have submitted. Yes, questions?
Does anyone on the commission?
Yes. I'm really pleased to see this project come back again. I actually consulted a little bit with Alina Church last year, who organized it, and I recommended both the artists that were selected last year. And I'm the representative for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe, and I just wanted to suggest, I know that the process is already underway, but all of these trails and locations are very significant to the Nisenan people, especially the Deer Creek Tribute Trail. So if there's a possibility this year even, but in the future for there to be some conversation and collaboration with the tribe, I'm happy to be the contact to facilitate that. But I think just having the indigenous perspective of those areas to inform the work is really valuable, even if it doesn't directly translate to what like Andres Amador did last year with the basket pattern. Yeah, so, yes, yeah.
Do we have any questions from the commissioners before I open it up for public comment?
I also would like to add, if you'd like us to resubmit once we do choose the artist for comment and no questions, since I don't really have anything for you right now. Okay. In particulars.
Well, you've mentioned one artist, Peggy Wright, who I know will provide something exquisite.
Okay.
Is there any comment from the public? None? Okay, we will return it to the table for discussion among ourselves. Anybody have any other questions or comments they'd like to, before we ask for I ask for a motion?
I had a question for Sean. So in reading this, it's that because of the new ordinance, this process didn't happen last year.
Correct.
But from this year forward, the city council will ultimately, or anything that's on Nevada City public land will have to approve.
Even private land, yeah, anything non-residential in the city would have to be approved. In this case, Berryville Land Trust has been our partner for a very long time in creating and maintaining trails and everything that is associated with that. So this, that they did this is wonderful and not surprising, and in no way in conflict with our ordinance, but it's just will become a process in the future, and we'll engage with them earlier to bring to you in the future. But it might not be on Nevada City Trails for a period of time, who knows? But yeah, that's kind of how we got here. And to Annette's point, I think it would be great if you would recommend this to the council this evening, knowing that you'll get a better shot at it next year. They would approve it, and then if one is selected in Nevada City, I think it would be wonderful if they would come back and introduce the artists in the project to you, so that you could share it. I think it would probably be difficult to postpone the approval until that point, just as a matter of process, but certainly whatever the commission would like to do.
Any other questions, or do I hear a motion from someone to recommend to the council?
I have a question. Is the performance piece of it gonna be not an application process, just more of a
I'm sorry,
poetry?
Oh, so that's separate. So
Separate.
we've got a grant for California Humanities to bring poetry to the trails. And so that will be on different trails at different times, just another event as part of the celebration of trails.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had 2 poets commissioned.
Beautiful. I just want to, express my support. I think this is so cool, and thanks for
Just I also want to say to Sean's point, I think we do actually look very forward to working with you all next year. I think it'll be very beneficial unusual for us as well to go through this process with the support of the commission. So I wish I would have known about it earlier, so I think it would have been helpful. So yeah, definitely we are completely on board to participate in that.
Maybe by next year, we'll know what we're doing.
And if I can make a suggestion, Truckee has done a lot of work in art and graphics and signage on trails, both park trails and dirt trails. So that might be an opportunity for the commission to, on your item 6, to get a presentation from what's been done at Truckee, and then Barry Galantros, logical partner in the future. So not in this action, but since
Any
here,
presentations you want to make to us, we would love to hear.
Can you remind me, when will the art be up on display?
It's the month of June, so we'll go up, we'll be built the very part of June and be up for the entire month.
I'm looking for a motion.
I motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second to recommend this to the council?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you call a roll call, please?
Commissioner Ariana?
Aye.
Commissioner Schwartz? Yes. Commissioner Hardy? Aye. Commissioner Clark? Aye. Commissioner Aye. Vice Chair Griffin?
Aye.
Chair Wilcox?
Aye. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing what's out there and what trail you choose. Thank you. Now I'll ask our city manager if you could please present on this next item.
Of course, this can be as brief as you would like, but at our last meeting, we gave you a list of properties that city-owned or controlled properties that art could be installed on, and after your discussion, originally we had it listed as usable, not usable, and available for temporary art, but then as we discussed, it was like, okay, there's some sites that could have art but aren't accessible but be visible, like the wastewater treatment facilities, visible from the trail system, and so we changed the categories to usable, only usable for temporary art, and potentially usable but not publicly accessible. You also asked that we add slivers or pieces of right-of-way when you were in Nevada Street,
Washington.
Washington, other areas like that that are not parcelized pieces of land, but that could potentially be art, so we added that as well. There's only one change to it. Thank you to the chair for catching Penzance Park. It was listed as available. It actually is in the historic district. If you look at our maps, it depends on which map you look at. So it's residentially zoned, but it is in the historic district and the scenic corridor. So there's all kinds of restrictions there. So that moves to the temporary art only category. We'll keep this list updated. The purpose of it will be for you to, for us to be able to make available to you anytime you're considering an art project. That way, even if the art project already has a home, you might say, we think you have a great art project, but you picked the wrong spot. And so you could refer to the list potentially to ask or recommend council, relocate it. And that's all I have on this item. Don't need any action, but if you have any questions or recommendations on how we can improve it, we'd be happy to follow through on that.
Questions? Mira? No, Jonas.
It's in the staff report. There you go. And it's on our website, but I can also email it to you.
I'm curious about, is there already a photographic inventory of all these locations?
Starting with getting 360 views.
I'm sorry, I don't want to add to your work, Sean, but.
There's not, but I happen to know someone that's a FAA licensed drone pilot that's in charge of this commission. Elise actually is, and she's very busy, so I would not test her with this, but at some point we do want to do that and have, it will build on it over time, and then as applicable or as appropriate, we'd love to include it in the cultural assets mapping that the Grass Valley Nevada City Cultural District has through the Arts Council. So we'll work on it, but we don't have it now.
Are commission members allowed, commissioners, excuse me,
allowed to do work for the commission? Like, if I was like, I can take a bunch of screenshots of what these look like,
Absolutely. There's no,
I can, and then give them to you. I just, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
if we just kind of
You
had
could
like
divide 'em
a
up, yeah.
street view and
see
like,
what
Yeah.
a drone would be great, but it seems like maybe a little, okay.
Yeah.
no, and even the My Nevada County Maps app lists by parcel, so the only ones that wouldn't have would be our slivers and right-of-way. You can do street view right within there, and we do it all the time for
Sweet.
zoning and things like that.
I do think that it'd be very helpful to
Yeah,
have
when we get
photographs for people who aren't really, really familiar with every little parcel in
I'm not.
Nevada City.
Which is fair, but nothing's
have
changed in 170 years, so.
I have an outside advantage on this one.
Well, it's not really a park,
Okay.
but
guess.
it shows you on the
Can I, did you ask
list
about
there.
Penzance Park?
Um,
Can I answer that,
Yeah,
John?
and you can explain why it's called Penzance, because that's what one
Okay.
too.
Penzance Park is a little sliver of property that actually we added to it when there was a piece of property next to it that could not be built on, and the people donated it. And it was blackberry shrub, down trees covered, and over the last about 15 years, it's been cleared off where there's bulbs planted there. It's at the intersection of Sacramento Street and Adams Street.
It's
right
across from the Chevron.
Right across from the Chevron station.
Sacramento
It's
Prospect.
not a real park, but it's a pocket park, a neighborhood park. And it's named Penzance for our sister city in Penzance, Cornwall. And when the mayor and the sergeant of mace came over, we asked the council to name it for, in honor of our sister city. And so that's where it got its name, and that's where it is, brief.
There's a Penzance room at City Hall, and the Pirates of Penzance played in 1898, first time we played west of the Mississippi here at the Nevada Theater.
And
And we have one of the playbills.
each year, the Nevada City Rotary Club plants about 300 to 400 bulbs, although it's so shady, a lot of them don't. But the crocus and the hyacinths and the ones on the daffodils were on the edge
Yeah.
did pretty good, well this year. So one day it'll be pretty. It doesn't have really water or electricity to have permanent plants in it, so bulbs work best.
But it's called a park, so it's Don's responsibility.
Thanks, Don.
Jonas?
I have a quick question. Are any of these possible to be made into, say, like, I don't know, walls where anyone, if the commission approved one of these spots, that anyone can just walk up and paint a mural if they wanted to without having to get approval? Like, say it was just a legal wall for anyone to paint on. Is that a possible thing to do?
Outside of the historic district, it's theoretically possible. It would require the council's approval.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially all things are possible, and this commission should be about what's possible, and then let people like me, limit it for you, but you shouldn't have to limit your thoughts, on what could be.
So could we have this list just amended to indicate which of these parcels are in the historic district and which aren't?
All of them that say only usable for temporary art are in the historic district. That's why they're on that list.
Okay.
And so the only one that moves now is Penzance Park, moves that list right under. It'll be right under Callahan Park.
Only usable for temporary art are all in. Okay.
Kathy, I have a question.
Any other questions? Celine has a question.
Sean, I had somebody ask for clarification around the Remedy Garden and the Commercial Street parking lot. They're listed here as only usable for temporary art because they're within the historic district. But the map that is online, there may be multiple maps online. The one that I was able to find on the Nevada City website, the historic district doesn't go into the commercial parking lot, and the 412 Commercial Street shows it as outside of the historic district. Is there another map?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure what map you're looking at, and we'd have to,
It's on
staff
our
would have to
website.
look and see, but there was an annexation to the historical district that annexed in parts of York Street and Commercial Street at the time that the Commercial Street parking lot was built. So whether it includes the garden, the Remedy
Garden
Gardens,
and the parking lot
I'm not-
itself.
I'm not sure, but I know that there was an annexation that was done to,
Yeah, the original historic district only went to Union Alley.
Right.
And it only went to Bridge Street, so it was very
It's-
small. It was 12 acres.
had a
something like
number
that.
of annexations to it since. So I don't know what,
Well, this
maps are
is,
online or not.
yeah, this is on the Nevada City government website under like historic district maybe, and then there's a map that has the drawn out area. No, it's more, that has color on it. It's more of a it's a black and white image and it looks a little bit older.
I was going to pull it up, but
yeah.
I
There are
have a
two,
smaller iPad.
there are two maps
Would it-
because there's the National Register area and then there's the historical district also.
Would it
Okay.
be possible to add the most updated map to our little list here that's included in each meeting?
Of the historic district?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just as a visual.
So you're saying there's two maps that are slightly different?
Between the National Register map and the historical district map, yes. The National Register's quite a bit smaller.
Okay, maybe that's what I was looking at.
And I completely love Jonas's idea, by the way. I just think, wouldn't that be cool, especially being a cultural district, if we had this one space that everyone knew they could just go and tinker with and paint something and be creative on, and that the city had given it pre-approval, would just be so cool.
But either way, that section is currently treated as inclusive of the historic district. It's been, the things that are there are subject to, the stamper and it looks like there's a mine door that goes in and those kind of things. And so it's treated as.
Yeah, I think it was a member of the public that wanted clarification around why that's been put into the historic district, because the map online showed it as not part of that, so.
It
we
certainly
did get-
wasn't because it used to be the Forest Service before they acquired it to be the parking lot, so it wasn't part of the original historic district. We can do that, and we can put the map on there, but also link to the dynamic map.
Great, thank you.
Any other discussion on this at this time? I think there have been some really great recommendations. The photo and the maps, I think, would really help people get an idea of where, when you talk about the sliver at Washington and Nevada Street, you'll know immediately what we're talking about. Thank you for those suggestions. Do you need anything else from us on that?
And if you have other recommendations, even outside the meeting, that make this more usable for your process, then email, call, whatever works. We'll try to keep this updated and not have to bring it back to you for action, but make it more fit to your needs over time.
Okay. Then moving on, again, we'll ask the city manager to present this. I think we're going to be talking about these
We are.
nifty little signs.
So last month, thank you for your discussion on this topic. I know nameplates don't seem like much, but it's a fun little project to get you moving in the right direction here. So you gave a lot of input. A synopsis of your input is in the staff report, but it's basically that it would likely be a arts council call to artists, encourage the use of natural sustainable materials, support of an representative artist, including language that explicitly states the support. We identified those as city funded activity. In other words, we'll pay for it, and consider targeted reach to ensure local artists are considered. And I think there was some, Nevada City focus and then the broader Nevada County focus. So I drafted a call to artists that attempted to address all of your concerns. That is what's in the staff report in front of you. So I will read through it, and I'm happy to take any direction, change, criticism, whatever you like, to make it right. And then if we can tonight, we could get it in the shape that you would like it to be, and then we can get it out through the Arts Council as quickly as practical. It says the Nevada City Public Arts Commission has a need for the creation of artistic and uniquely Nevada City nameplates to identify the 7 public arts commissioners when participating in public meetings, and we need your help to make it happen. We're seeking community-based artists to design and create one-of-a-kind nameplates to both identify commissioners and inspire art and artists and civic engagement in all things arts and culture in Nevada City. Please review the full page for information about all the stuff. Artist eligibility is artists in Nevada County, artist teams are eligible, and local Nevada City artists and community groups are highly sought after in the project. Equal artist opportunity, artists from historically and currently underserved and under-resourced communities are highly encouraged to apply. The invite to artists is an equal artistic opportunity. Selection of the winning proposal will be made without regard to status protected by applicable federal, state, or local law. Art criteria and goals, the artist should create a transformation from the existing business professional style plastic and wood plate to something that identifies the commissioner by name and their role as a public art commissioner, while respecting and being inspired by the city of Nevada City's unique and centuries-long support of art within the community. Limited in size to 18 inches wide, 5 inches high, 5 inches deep. Display each commissioner's name and title, public art commissioner, in a font and size that is equally readable as the current nameplates. Made of or respectful of natural, sustainable, or reusable materials. Expressions that would meet the requirements could include themes of nature, landscapes, local flora and fauna, unique Nevada City vibrant art, cultural and historical importance to Nevada City and Nevada City buildings and icons. The existing nameplates, and it says bold and underlined, is not what's desired, and there's a picture of mine, because we have made ones for you. The budget, we said the artist should submit a budget for consideration that includes all artist fees such as design, labor, and transportation to create the 7 nameplates. And then the proposal information, we would just make a Microsoft form or a Google form, and have all the information in it, and put it up for a month, so that date doesn't have to be fixed. But the proposal, project description, sketch, resume or biography, previous projects, budget breakdown, and then they could send pictures if they wanted to of previous work. Wouldn't be a requirement in this one, unless you wanted to be, change that. And then our selection criteria, just 10 points in 2 categories: completeness of the proposal, does it include all the requested elements, and then the art piece content. Does the art piece capture a one-of-a-kind nameplate that both identifies commissioners and inspire art and artists and civic engagements in all things arts and culture in a uniquely Nevada City way? So 20 points maximum. You would grade based on those 2 categories, and then the timeline's in there for how we would do it. And then if you wanted to change the timeline, we would just back it out to when the commission dates would be. And then it says if you have a question, if you like it, call Lisa. If you don't like it, call me. And it would have the button to go to the form there and at the top of the form. So that's kind of the attempting to cover all the bases of what you brought up at the last meeting. And I know I said at the meeting that I'd try to get something to Eliza, but then when I was reading through all the things that you mentioned there, I'm like, there's no way that, we could get it done without bringing it back to you. So that's why it's here again.
So before I ask for comments from the public, do we have any questions from the commission?
Just one, I think it's brilliant. And when we went away from the last meeting, I thought that you were just going to send me a couple of bullet points and then we would build out the call, but you've, as in your usual style, have been amazing and created the entire thing. I would only throw in that valuable mention of us being a California cultural district. So in that sentence where we are seeking community-based artists to design and create one-of-a-kind nameplates to both identify commissioners and inspire art and artists in civic engagement in all things Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District, or something like that, just to have that brand out there at any given moment. Because then we report on that into the state. The smallest thing just will help lodge in people's mind that the city is a partner with the Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District.
And all things art and culture in Nevada City and our associated Nevada City Grass Valley Cultural District.
Yes, exactly. I can put something in, ping it to you, or We can put the call up and you can see if you like it, Sean.
Any other comments before I ask the public?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Selena.
I just wasn't clear on how the submissions, so there's the submission deadline, the review of the artist proposals, and then the winning artist notified. What's the process that's actually happening to get that winning artist?
So it would be, the review would be it says review of artist proposals, May 15th. That's your rescheduled May meeting, because May 1st is the first Wednesday, and we have the budget workshop that day, so you reschedule your May meeting to May 15th. So that is you reviewing the whatever submitted at the commission. And then deciding, and then we notify them within 7 days. But if you wanted a different process, we could do that.
So it's a public review?
100%.
Yeah.
The intent would be just to take all of them, put it in the packet, give them to you, and then you would grade them, hopefully look at it in advance, but even if not, you would grade them individually based on those two 10-point categories for a total of 20 points. And we'd select the best fit for now, realizing that this can be iterative, right? You could get ones and have them, and then, like Kathy said, oh, those would be great for the planning commission. Let's do something different for us, or, that's okay too.
You had a question?
It's small, but I don't remember, Sean, do they stay, are they gonna carry over, or do they get changed out each time there's a new panel of people up
Yeah,
there?
we'll change, we'll just
Okay,
completely
so it's
change
not
them out.
some long-term, okay.
Yeah, they won't be, like these one, the wood one that is in front of Lisa, we literally pull that piece of plastic off the wood, because, and then use double sticky tape to put the new one on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather you, if you go off the commission in 4 years, I'd rather you keep your,
Keep my own nameplate for
yeah,
my
yeah.
desk.
and then-
Your desk at
You
home.
wouldn't want to keep that one, because you'd be like, oh, this is, I
And I
can't
can
even
swap it out when I
recycle.
change my name. Okay.
I apologize because the last item I didn't ask if there was comment, and there's public out there. Does anybody have any public comment on this item?
Adam still doesn't like AI generated art.
Thank you.
No AI generated
Yes,
art,
let's
all
put
right?
that in there.
Pardon?
We can state that, no AI generated art.
That sounds perfect.
All right, we'll return, no public comment being, I don't see hands up or anyone approaching, so we'll return it to the commission, and time for us to discuss among ourselves if we have anything else to add to it. I just had a question. Do you think April 30th is a realistic date to get it out there to everybody? I guess that would be more asking.
I would ask
We can,
any of you.
we can literally get it up tomorrow. If you send me the, we can immediately get it up on Call to Artists. If you trust us to create a fun graphic and
How do you do the outreach? Do you have a list of people that have contacted you, or do you have every artist available? Like, how do you do this?
so we can send it out in the mid-month newsletter. So, the beginning of the week after next. And then we have a Call to Artist page, which is probably the most visited page on our site. And we're constantly sending people to that page. So I'm guessing, and we'd put it out on social media. We have about 8 different social media platforms. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Mira. Oh, it's appropriate for commissioners to promote it as well, right?
100%.
We just can't like each other's promotions, right?
Right?
Yeah, in terms of promotion, I wonder like what the internal Nevada City capacity is to make just like a flyer type thing that we can share on social media and also post to our own things. in
No, we
addition.
absolutely will.
Cool, that'd be sweet.
Lisa will either do it herself, or she will give it to our millennial social media person.
Evan.
You talked to him today, right?
I did. And then my other comment is just, when we talk about historically underrepresented and under-resourced communities, I don't think it goes without saying to identify BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus communities, just to really kind of hone in what we mean by that, because otherwise it feels kind of just jargony
absence of meaning to me. So that would be my recommendation, is that we actually talk about what we mean when we say underrepresented and under-resourced.
So I talked to the mayor about this. I looked at what other organizations use. I looked at what we have historically used. We don't have borders for that, right? So which group do you include in that statement? Which group do you not? We don't. Historically, we've said those things that underserved and under-resourced communities. So
Maybe you guys should think about that. like what it means. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to.
yeah, no,
Let it fly.
I'm not trying to shut you down.
No, totally.
I just don't have a. In my previous life, I would have known, because it would have been, this is the statement that we use, because these are the communities that we identify as underserved or under-resourced, and we don't have that in Manistee City as a defined thing.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if it was possible to even do like a IE, da-da-da-da-da, like, not to say this is all encompassing, but this exists, I think the data would show that it does exist, but again, I surrender my.
Any other?
I just had a quick question about the plaques. Is anyone any age, no matter where you live in, as long as it's in Nevada County, can apply for this project?
Submit?
Yeah, submit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
If there are no other comments or questions, I'm looking for a motion. Jonas, did you move? Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Could you call the roll call?
Commissioner Arianes?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Harney? Yes. Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Tudor?
Yes.
Vice Chair Negrete?
Yes.
Chair Wilcox Barnes?
Aye. Okay, it's passed and you have your
Marching orders.
marching orders. I was going to say our suggestions on how to go forward. So, and I'm going to be calling on you again to present the next item on dark skies.
No, I'm giving it to Lisa.
Oh, Lisa,
Which
okay.
is
Would you
always
please-
better, yeah, I'm just a visitor. Eventually, it's gonna be these two. Do we even introduce Brittany?
Individually, yeah.
Chair, do you mind if I introduce Brittany?
Please do.
Brittany
Please do.
is our finance supervisor, which is a new role for her. She is going to eventually be our finance manager. So she is in the hard knocks of just finished mid-year budget, doing audit and a new budget with a whole bunch of stuff that I want in the new budget. But she also is an artist and has an affinity for art. So she's clerking this evening, but she also will likely integrate into this commission in some fashion in the future. And I really appreciate that she's willing to do that, and much more appreciate that, her desire to be involved in the artistic community and as part of government, which is, those things don't usually align super well. But so that's Brittany, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm not sure, let's see, finance and art, do they, they meet, huh?
This is my reprieve. The finance part.
What on earth do you mean, do they meet?
We hope they do. All right, so Lisa, could you?
Yes, so I wanted to give an update on our Dark Skies awareness campaign and the work that has been done since our last meeting when I brought the idea up with you. We are working with the town of Truckee and now the city of Grass Valley and also Nevada County to partner on the awareness campaign. Town of Truckee is actually a little bit farther ahead than us, so we're sort of tagging on to some of their marketing materials that they've done, which you can see in the staff report, this great image of the Highway 40 bridge on Donner Summit. So the marketing firm that's doing the work is East-West Partners or East River Partners, something like that. Sorry, what is it, Sean?
East
Yeah.
River PR.
Yeah,
East
ERPR.
River PR, thank you. And they have offered to change the material to have our logos or our names so that we can use the information and the marketing materials to provide to the public and to spread the word about the campaign. So since the town of Truckee is ahead of us, we have decided to have 2 separate photo contests. So we're going to have Truckee will have their own, and then the west side of the county will have our own. So anyone over here on the west side can enter, and I wanted to discuss the contest with the commissioners tonight and hopefully get feedback from you all as artists and members of the community that participate in art events and art contests and things, and just help me sort of with the contest and anything that I might get from you as far as information to avoid pitfalls, and to roll it out successfully. So just to give you a little bit more information on dark skies and the importance of it, darker skies do have proven health benefits to humans and all animals, ecosystem and wildlife protection, enhanced stargazing, energy conservation, and obviously beauty and less light pollution. I have engaged with 4 photographers that are local here to Grass Valley, Nevada City, that are members of the Nevada County Camera Club, which is a pretty active group, it sounds like. There's about 150 photographers in that group. And they are dark sky photography fanatics, basically. So they have offered to help us in various ways. We'll likely use some of their photos for some of the marketing materials, and then also they are going to help us with a photography experience, which will be an engagement piece for the community. So more to come on that. So a few things I'd like to go over with you are entry requirements. Should we do things like Nevada County resident only with a Nevada County photo? Submissions. I think Taylor was going to reach out to you all today, and I think she probably spoke with Heather, so that's good. And discuss a potential reception, and then obviously talking about judging options. Since Truckee is a little bit ahead of us, they came up with a few things. They were thinking of potentially doing a panel of judges set up by the Truckee Public Arts Commission to review photos and give each a grade on a scale of 1 to 10 based on the relevance to the theme, creativity, technical skill, etc. So their option number 1 would be top average scores in each category will win. And then second option would be that the panel picks the top 10 and then the public votes on the winners. So with like a newspaper submission sort of thing, or public facing contest where people choose their favorites. So to open up the discussion, I'm just hoping for like open dialogue on the contest.
Okay, so Liza, do you have?
Yes, because Heather, who's our Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District Program Manager, is in the room, and because she had a conversation and a brainstorm with us in the office today, we're so delighted to partner with the City of Grass Valley and the City of Nevada City and the county on helping to implement this, because we are grant makers and conveners and we have processes for this sort of thing. We're very happy to help out. Is it appropriate to ask Heather to come up and give some?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I thought you were all giving me information.
You want to say how you pried your way into this morning?
I didn't. Did you set this up? Because the second I got back to the office, Taylor called me. Was that you, Sean?
It was not, but we might have had that conversation early this morning, right?
Yeah, we did.
At some
And then I
point.
was surprised that Taylor called me. So I'm not sure what I can add beyond what you just said, other than, you know, we're working with the county essentially to work on the sort of the contest side of this. So the submissions, the judging, and then what happens with the art. If it's publicly displayed or if there's some kind of a party that goes with it or something like that. So I was kind of hoping to hear more here and learn more. So I don't know that I have a lot to add, but I'm happy to.
No, thanks, that's great, Heather. It's just a sort of affirmation of Nevada County Arts Council's commitment to this as a partner, and that was it. And so we'll learn some more and talk with Taylor some more, and yeah.
Taylor, the PIO for the county.
Yes.
So this started as us at Truckee participating, and then the county and Grass Valley found out.
Yeah.
And the county's like, we're in, and Grass Valley's like, oh my gosh, now we have to be in. So Lisa's done a lot of work with Truckee, and then now the other parts have been melded into this. So it's a little bit clunky, for lack of a better term, but that's okay. That's the space where we can, you know, improve and do better things. So we're not, as an organization, we're not locked into anything, but we've been kind of working on this path, and then now it became this path. So any ideas can't hurt.
I have a question. Maybe I'm a little confused that what we're being asked to do. Am I reading my agenda wrong? We were going to ask to appoint somebody to serve on this, and now it's expanded, and we're looking at the
Possibly.
criteria or how you do it.
If we aren't sure, we discussed that today, so yes, forgive us for the clunkiness because we are just coming together as a team with, you know, Amy Wolfson from Grass Valley, Taylor and Ariel from the county. So since we've never worked together in this capacity, we're, you know, trying to, you know, just start from where we are. So I brought that up at our meeting today of how, you know, how we should look at judging. It could be that we choose 2 representatives from each jurisdiction, or that represent a judge to create a judging panel, or it could be that we utilize our Public Arts Commission here in Nevada City to do the judging. So when I brought that up, Taylor and Amy were both kind of scratching their head like, who would our representative be? So I kind of wanted to have that discussion with you all because, you know, is it appropriate to have elected officials or members of the Board of Supervisors or the city councils judging art competitions? Or is it more appropriate for folks who are more involved in art and art in the community to do the judging? I kind of wanted some feedback from all of you on that.
Would you be looking for a recommendation or a volunteer from this in case they're needed to, you know, so you leave here with a name tonight, or?
Yes, 2.
2.
In case we go that direction, because then we could have 2 from Nevada City, 2 from the county, 2 from City of Grass Valley.
Okay.
To make a panel. Or, I mean, I did offer up our Public Arts Commission. I hope that's okay, since we have a board here that could potentially do the judging, since you're already established.
So that clarifies it a little bit, because, you know, I was a little thrown by what are we being asked. I guess, questions from other, anybody want to put their hand up, 2 people that they would really like to?
First, I just wanted to comment when you talked about the 2 possibilities for judging, be it like the commissioners or the folks from the city and the county put together, or coming down to those people choosing 10 and then the public voting on them via the newspaper possibly. I would just say, I think it has to be in person because photographs in the newspaper are never going to do justice to the photographer, and you're never going to get, especially night photographs, because you won't get blacks. But I do love the idea of the public voting. It's just that I feel like it would have to be in somewhere where they could physically go and look at the photographs, and then it does sort of limit, who can physically go to look at them, unless there was some other way where it was on a website. I mean, you might be able to get a much higher resolution and the blacks are going to look black if you're looking at it on your computer versus in a print form like the paper.
Yeah, you're totally right, yeah.
So it could be like an online display of art, say at Nevada County Arts, a dedicated page for it, and then a poll where you enter your vote. Could be.
Yeah, as far as the design of the judging, I mean, I do think there's something like nice and egalitarian about having the 2-2-2. But I think we'd probably get more like lift and publicity, but if like Heidi Hall were one of the judges, like she'd push it out to her people or whatever. But I also think there's something to be said about Nevada City establishing the infrastructure for a public arts council and like celebrating that we have that, and like this is what you get when you have a public arts commission. You get to be the judges of stuff. So I could go either way. I do think it's a good use of the commission, and might also like inspire other jurisdictions to do this type of thing. And ideas for putting it out, website, yes. It might be also cool, because I agree with the in-person piece. It might be cool to like maybe partner with the library possibly, or somewhere that you could have it. I mean, like the Rood Center, are people going to the Rood Center all the time? They're just not really going there all the time. But are people going to the library? If it rotated to the 3 Western County libraries, that's never going to happen. No one has the capacity for that. But that would be my fantasy, that it would like get to kind of move around and people could see it. And then my question was just, when is this happening?
Yes, that's my big question.
Tomorrow.
That sounds right.
So our tentative that we came up with today was starting on actual Earth Day, starting the contest on actual Earth Day, which is April 22nd, and then running it through May 31st.
Cool. And I don't want to volunteer to be one of the judges if it is a 2-person selection thing.
And do you want to share about the workshop or the experience, that we have someone that's probably going to help us with that kind of thing?
Sure,
Or
yeah.
did you say that I just glossed over?
Well, the night sky photographers are interested and able to help us with the, I don't really want to call it a night sky photography workshop, because we call a lot of like city stuff workshops. So night sky experience, photography, skill building experience or something like that. And the ideas that we passed around last week were, it's obviously an engagement piece, so inviting people with professional cameras, or even those with iPhones or other phones that have really good cameras. What was suggested was having an in-person, probably here at City Hall, to do like an education on techniques and do like a PowerPoint with how to do night sky photography successfully, and then go out to dinner, take a break, or maybe come back the next night and actually go out in the field and do the photography. I learned a lot last week about night sky photography. One of the things is that you go out pretty darn late if you want to capture the Milky Way. So we have some more conversations to do around that, and you know what that will look like and what time we'll sort of plan it for. And then follow up of come back and have post-processing assistance with the photographers to really learn the other parts of the technique with that sort of photography. Wow. Yeah. So also considering a category for cell phone submissions. So professional submissions, amateur level submissions, youth submissions, and then possibly a cell phone, just to do more engagement and get more people interested and feel like they can participate.
Would there be like film photography category as well, or would that just be in there with youth and
That's a good
adults?
question. So instead of still photography, like a short
Actual
video
film,
clip or
yes.
something?
No, like
Oh,
film.
like
Traditional,
traditional.
non-digital.
No, like
Developing.
yes,
Film.
like developing film
I hadn't,
because there's quite a few
yeah, I hadn't thought about that yet.
film photographers in Nevada County.
I love that idea. Isn't it funny that we've forgotten, in this digital age, we've forgotten, you know,
What film is.
what film is. Yeah, you actually put it into the camera and.
Yeah, so Sean or Lisa, both of you, the idea of the competition is in part about this upcoming dark skies ordinance that the Planning Commission will be looking at, or City Council will be looking at in Nevada City, and is it to get people like excited about the idea of the dark skies ordinance that isn't,
Excited about
maybe
the
some people
idea.
aren't going to be excited about it, or?
Excited about the idea and the value of dark skies. Whether or not they like the ordinance, it's kind of immaterial. They will go hand in hand because Heather and I went to school from kindergarten at Bell Hill till high school. And was it second grade?
Yeah.
We went to see Halley's Comet, right? If my grandkid is gonna see Halley's Comet, we'll need something like a dark skies ordinance, otherwise light pollution will prohibit you from seeing it.
What does
ever
it-
again. So,
Sean, what will it look like? So how, if I walk up Broad Street now at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, and it's really sweet and there's all the twinkly lights and everything, and I know that was a big deal to get them all up onto the buildings, would those turn off, or what would it look like?
generally, for the most part in Nevada City, nothing changes. What would go away is things like security lights that pop on every time somebody's dog walks by, and it floods light off of their property onto other people's property, and unshielded lighting that emits light horizontally and vertically. So they call it the airplane test. If you fly overhead of a community, you can tell places that have unshielded lights because you can see every street light when you're flying over, right? You can see the silhouettes of houses, and you can sometimes see, as you're landing, you can see people walking down the sidewalk. None of that's possible here. If you fly over this city from 300 feet, you can't see any, we don't have any light that emits upwards. The gas lamps don't create any lumens vertically, and they're not shielded at all. They're burning gas. So it's that kind of thing of eliminating light pollution, but not eliminating light for safety or utilitarian purposes.
And really what it's doing is eliminating the threat of future light pollution, not what we have now.
Yes, we have a lot of ordinances that already require 30-degree cutoffs for lights so that the lights can't shine out sideways and things like that. Sleek knows this from having to deal with our planning commission on lighting, but so we have a lot of the things in place already, and it hasn't been determined that we would even have an ordinance. We'll explore it, and what it will be should be informed by the community, and it should be based on a desire for protecting that. So this is a good springboard to that. If everyone says, hell no, we don't want that, and the planning commission doesn't approve it and the council doesn't approve it, we'll have a really cool photography contest and not a dark skies ordinance. I doubt that happens personally, but so one doesn't have to happen the other, but that is why we engaged Truckee in the first place. Stuart and I went from the chamber, Stuart Baker and I went and met with all the different pieces of Truckee, because they have a chamber and a downtown visitors center, and the SBC is up there, and the town and the Parks and Rec district. They have all these different pieces that make up their program, and they have a desire to move towards a dark skies certification, and they were already ahead of us on doing this, so that's kind of the impetus for it. and then Lisa got roped into doing all the actual work.
This might be a question that's not really that relevant to this specific agenda item, but just so I understand, let's say Truckee and Nevada City, for example, have this dark sky ordinance, and you're talking about the idea of being able, like your grandchildren being able to see a comment. If there are all kinds of other places, LA, Las Vegas, New York, right, where that's not going to be happening, does small areas, you're just talking about how it would impact the skies in these areas? It's not something that has any kind of broader impact beyond our areas.
It could though, you know, because like our goal is to pass an update to our outdoor exterior lighting standards. You know, we call it casually dark sky ordinance, but it has expanded from being just us to now Grass Valley and now the county. And before the conversation started with us and Truckee, they weren't aware of it or considering it. So it's kind of like it's moving around, and it's an international movement. So I was surprised, our planning commissioner actually told me this yesterday, that the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is certified as a dark sky city. So bigger cities could do it too, but it starts with, you know, setting some new regulations so that when development happens, people have to, you know, abide by the different fixtures, and it's quite simple really. But we have some rules in place for exterior lighting fixtures, but it will just make them, it will make it more effective.
It supports tourism to a great extent. I mean, there's definitely people that want to be somewhere like this, as opposed to if you were to leave this meeting tonight and drive down Highway 49, when you get close to the county line, where you would turn off to go to the winery, you can see the glow coming off of North Auburn. And it's just this bright haze of light. And so there's literally people that don't go there anymore because of that. So it's economic development, it's the right thing to do, it's uniquely Nevada City, hopefully it bleeds into other places, but yes, our ordinance would only be for, fortunately we have the overpass that kind of blocks out Grass Valley if they don't want to do it.
I really love the way Truckee's says, don't be afraid of the dark. I think that's really beautiful. And it's rather like when we had our big installation up in Truckee that taught the public about the 13,000-year history of the Tahoe National Forest, and simultaneously engaged the public around what does it mean to protect ourselves from catastrophic fire, which implies prescribed burning. We had to have a whole sort of campaign around don't be afraid of seeing smoke in the sky at certain times of year. This is what it means. This is how it's of benefit. And it was sort of like, don't be afraid of the smoke. So I love this. Yeah.
So, I want to say I'm 100% behind the contest, the photography, pictures worth 1,000 words, and getting an idea across, and the night skies. I'm really happy that we're looking at protecting our night skies, because that's one of the things that I've missed the most about growing up here in Nevada County, and is used to be able to drive from Auburn all the way into Grass Valley and see 1 million stars in the sky, and you don't, and probably you remember it, Sean, but you don't see that anymore. They're gone.
Even at Wolf Combi, you can't see it because there's so much light.
And so I really am supportive of this, because it's important for our kids, our grandkids, the generations to come. And I'm thinking, you know, we read that we're on Nisenan land, and we don't, you know, how you would feel, I mean, what it must have been like to see more than, you know, billions of stars without any light detracting from it. And I think it's an honor to the Nisenan as well to, you know, if we do this. So
Yes, it would be very nice to publicly, to actually write that somewhere into our call to artists, wouldn't it, to actually acknowledge, experience the night sky as those who were here first would have, you know.
Yeah, I would want to check in with the tribal spokesperson and see how and if they would want that and how they would want it phrased. But yeah.
Now, I guess, what do you want us to do to move on from this point tonight?
We've been taking notes. What else do you need?
Submissions. Can you tell me what you know about other ways that you all have hosted contests? We were thinking of following the lead of what Truckee is doing, and they're using the Sierra Sun for folks to submit photos, sort of as like a holder. But the union, we haven't been able to pin that down with them. So we could think about UBANet, or I was curious about what you guys, how you do it. If you do contests, is that something you do?
There are different ways that we can do these things, and depending upon the time that one has to launch a program. We partner with the Wild and Scenic Film Festival every year and serve the public art, the call to artists, which is all done digitally. So it's submitted to the Wild and Scenic Film Festival as an online file. We can use a platform. It would be fun to use the Arts Council in a way, particularly because we're running arts, and we're just about to release a campaign for April, which, as Sean has reminded us, is Arts, Culture and Creativity Month. But we also have a campaign that Heather is about to launch called Spring into Art. So if this were to be launched during April, why not have that be part of the campaign, and we can brand it and just have fun with it, with the Cultural District. I think we need another 24 hours at least to consider a recommendation. So, Sean, give us another 24 hours, and then we can come back to you with some ideas and see what you think. Is it the case that we're going, Nevada County Arts Council, following the county's request, would manage submissions for all 3 cities? And is each municipality going to be choosing its own? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, would Grass Valley choose its favorites with Nevada City? Do you know what I mean?
We were just going to have this.
It's just
contest,
one, yeah. Yep.
Truckee's going to do their own thing, and we're going to do our own thing.
Yeah, so we just have to decide for Western Nevada County, basically, yeah.
If it's okay, I could add that we looked at a platform that the Center for the Arts uses today, just because they are often doing art calls to artists, and I think we could actually replicate that really quickly.
Yep.
And then host it on the Nevada County Arts Council website.
And push it out through.
Exactly, through all of the channels that we all have. So
Yeah.
we would all,
Absolutely.
We'd have that landing page we could have that landing page at the Arts Council.
Okay, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and obviously we can talk offline about it. I just was sort of wondering if there was some general feedback there. So
There are so many different ways. We've partnered with the county on its call to artists and submission process for the rebranding of the entire Nevada County Transit fleet. We ran a poetry call to artists last year in which we displayed the poetry at the Rood Center physically. I think that would take a little more time to actually do it physical. So my suggestion is that we do an online one for this year, and then next year with more notice, perhaps we can build it into our Art in Public Spaces program, which sees us do curating revolving exhibitions at the Rood Center, and we can actually build it into to what's on display, this time next year or something, But with very little time, I would suggest an online exhibition.
So since the timing seems to be really short, April 22nd or 22nd, I think you said, would the commission feel comfortable if we recommend 2 people to work, Liza being one, to work with Lisa to move this forward?
And this is Lisa?
criteria on how to develop
Lisa's-
how to
sorry, I was
develop
thinking
the
Lisa's-
photography contest and the best way to market it? Would you, I mean,
The only thing I think we didn't touch on was the idea of like, is it gonna be open to Nevada County residents only? And I don't know if anyone has like strong opinions about it. I feel like it's a little bit limiting and like so many people come here and visit here and it's kind of part of our like tourist economic backbone that probably limiting it to residents only is the best move, in my opinion.
Is there an incentive or compensation for the winners, or is it just you get your photo used?
We want to have awards, we want to
Okay.
have prizes.
Beanies.
Pretty commonly with these, the professional category would be open to anybody. So anybody that wants to, is a
Okay.
professional photographer that wants to come and celebrate what we do, but the other categories would generally be limited to Nevada County residents.
Cool.
And are
Just
they,
to keep it, you
Yeah.
know, contained, so to speak.
and if it were open to a broader public, are we asking the photograph to be taken within Nevada County with an obvious, like the Truckee one, that's the Lincoln Highway Bridge, which makes it so special, you know, for the Truckee residents, etc. So would we want some sort of backdrop or skyline that is uniquely Nevada City? for
Western Nevada County at
Yes.
least?
They'll need to say where they took the picture, and that'd be in the county.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, do we have two people who are willing to
And you don't
help
have
with
to.
this?
That's
You don't
okay
have
too,
to?
or-
Do you feel like you have enough?
I'm looking at Jonas.
Do you
Jonas
feel
is
like you have enough direction from the commission to go forward comfortably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, someone else.
I would do it. That sounds
Yes?
so fun. I can't believe everybody's not
Great.
jumping at it. Like, it sounds so fun.
Jonas, was your hand up or you're saying, no, I'm too busy? You know,
He's on strike. That sounds really fun, yeah.
Shannon,
Sounds
how
fun, I
about
don't know
you? Are you
enough about
too-
No, it's not a good fit for me.
Not a good fit
I don't
for
know anything
you?
about photography.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know
Anybody
anything
else it's a good fit for?
No, I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea of it being, if it ends up that it makes the most sense when you're having these conversations for it to be the commission itself. That is the,
Yeah.
I think right now we're just looking for two people that Lisa can bounce ideas off of and say, is this what we are planning for the contest? So it's not, we're not asking you to judge it or anything yet.
So I think we have our
We have our two.
people, and
So-
then I will be working
Great.
with our staff on this as well.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Okay. Do you, I don't see a way or a reason to do a motion on this. You have our recommendation.
No, if, you know, if we were going to, yeah, if for some reason needs to come back to you for, or you're gonna be the judges or anything, then we'll let you know, but
Okay.
we'll update you at the next meeting on how it's progressed.
And again, I think this year we'll keep it really simple, really easy peasy and sweet, and make a sort of social media campaign around it and things like that, but not to get too ambitious this year, bearing in mind it's less than a month.
but is this something that's going to be an annual? It seemed as though this is a one-time.
Is it? What are you thinking, Sean?
I would love it if it became a, you know, ongoing thing. Unfortunately, Dark Skies Month, the reason why there's the push to do this is because there's an International Dark Skies Month. It also happens to be which is it March or April?
This week.
It's this week. Dark Skies. It's the wrong time to be doing night sky photography, to do astrophotography, which is what they call it. Based on how many apps do they have that are tracking the stars and visibility, and it's just the wrong time in this part of
Got it.
the world to be taking pictures. But so we might move dates, we might move whatever. I'd love it. I mean, there's nothing that locks us into doing it again next year, but it'd be great.
I just, for the workshop, you don't want to call it a workshop, but it could be an opportunity, the idea of opportunity to learn about night sky photography.
And I love experience. I think it's the most marvelous euphemism, isn't it? I'm just about to lead a succession of grant writing workshops. I'm going to call them experiences.
It's an experience.
Experience, okay. Well, thank you, everyone.
And I actually just had one last thought. Is there any criteria around like no edit rule or a certain amount of editing? Because in today's age with Photoshop, I mean, someone could come in and with AI make the most spectacular.
We just do the same thing where we
you
say
know.
no AI. Or
I don't know if
whatever.
there's just like going to be any parameters around a maximum amount of editing
I don't
or.
know enough about
Okay.
it. I think that like post-processing is pretty crucial for the photographs to come out
Yeah.
as good as they can. But I don't know what that threshold would be, you know?
Maybe that team has a recommendation.
Yeah, I think it would be
Yeah.
worth
What's
exploring.
kind of
Yeah.
the norm versus pretty far outside the norm? I don't know. I haven't met those guys. They sound awesome.
I mean, you could also do a category that is inclusive of AI or editing. So it's not just a.
Go wild with AI category.
Edit all you want.
But you can make a category that has editing in it and then a category that has no editing at all. But that also gives a lot of
That's
categories.
a wonderful idea, Jonas.
There's no bad ideas.
Okay, so with that,
Happy
we'll
relaxing.
move on, and I think we're having a tag team on this one, the city manager and the city planner presenting it.
Sure, I'll kick it off. So this is part one of two. Really, tonight we're looking for you to start thinking about things that you would like to see in future presentations. Tonight you saw the art pavilion. You've heard from the Grass Valley City Cultural District. You don't have to make up your minds tonight, but it'd be good to hear from you and get some thoughts flowing. We'll document that, and then we will have a standing report on your agenda in the consent calendar that is a list of the items that you've asked for. And at any meeting, you could do public comment, or in your commissioner reports, you could say, hey, I just took 2/5 of the council to High Hand a couple weeks ago that Solomon spoke about. It's in Loomis. It's a really, cool place, and, you'd like to see a presentation on that or something like that. You can always bring up things like that in commissioner reports, because that's also a request for future activities. And so if the full commission's like, yeah, that sounds good, we can add it to the list then. But so tonight is just kind of brainstorming that future presentations, and knowing that you can always bring up items in the future. And you can always just email Lisa or I with, if you 2 o'clock in the morning, something's stuck in your head, you can't get back to sleep. If it's 2 in the morning, don't send it to Lisa, it's not fair. But I'll probably be up waiting for my daughter to get home from work.
Okay, so, gee, we only have one member of the public left. I'll ask if the public has any comment, and then we'll kind of do a brainstorming. I have one, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, or if it's, I asked Sean this earlier, if it's under the commissioner reports, but something I would like to see us maybe think about is, there's art's more than just visual art. And tonight, as we're sitting here having this wonderful meeting, there was a missing a poetry reading down there.
I know.
And so I would like to see us possibly do some kind of a kiosk idea where we have once a month, the poet has their a poem displayed in it, and that it's changing all the time. So it's not this permanent display, but that we also recognize the poets, and it's pretty hard to stick a short story or something like that in something. So I'm focusing in on poetry, but I'd like to see us work on an idea that brings that part of the arts into the conversation.
So something like a display that's flat on the wall, you can open it up and switch out the poem in the corridor here, for
Exactly,
example.
with a nice, something that attracts your attention around it, yeah.
Sweet, like a thought for the day, but a poem for the month.
Poem
something.
for the month.
Here in
or-
this building? Is that what you're
Well, I don't know
Somewhere.
where, that would be up to us to figure out, where it would be appropriate to have it.
So one of the things I said in the staff report that would be an example of something that you could bring up, kind of aligns with this, is asking the Arts Council to give you a presentation on the Arts and Public Spaces program that they do basically at the Root Center already, and how that could be applied to our much smaller than the Root Center hallway. I love stuff like that. We will put that on the list and bring it back to you. We have a county poet laureate. We have the Arts Council who hosts a very specific grant-funded related poetry activity. There's all kinds of interesting things around that. So
You're absolutely
it's on the list.
You're absolutely correct on all fronts, except that none of it is grant funded. We raise monies for these things, including Nevada County Poet Laureate. Oh, the Art in Public Spaces is funded by the county, in part. But yes, we'd be happy to come and present these things to you.
I think part of our making a case for ourselves is to figure out how we align with the missions of organizations that are already doing local art stuff. And so, I mean, not asking them to do more work by coming and telling us more about their missions, but really how do we familiarize ourselves with the kind of landscape that's happening, and as sort of the model body for Western County, what can we do to kind of just do more active outreach to figure out who even are the players in the game that we can be of use to. So not sitting back and being all right, well, we're here first Wednesday of the month, if you want to come. We should, be an active player in cultivating public art. I don't know how we do it.
One suggestion would be, I feel like I'm taking up too much space, but we're in the planning and programming phase of creating a leadership roundtable for our arts executives, and perhaps, and it's going to take place in the Miners Foundry, hopefully in the first week of June. It'll probably be an all-day convening. This is the one we've been talking about forever, and we're just so busy. But so the first part of June we'll get together all the executive directors of our arts organizations, large and small, and we could create possibly an agenda item around this, which will help familiarize our commissioners, and you'll get to see everybody. So the business of art, where we had our municipal and county leaders who are invested in public art on a panel. The business of art is for our creatives and our artists and our culture bearers, but the leadership roundtable sort of is for our leaders. So there you get to see who they all are in one room. Yeah.
Can I ask a question just as a follow-up on that? If I were to write down what you want to have outreach to figure out who to engage with. So if we lean on the Arts Council to bring back a list of organizations, groups, and individuals that already operate in the arts and culture space, and then you could pick from them who you might want to hear presentations from, or who you might want to have a liaison from this commission go and directly engage with them to learn about the organization and bring that information back instead of them presenting. Is that what you're talking about, or is it something different?
Yeah, it is that. It is creating a common language of the ecosystem of public art that we are working in.
And very specifically public art, yes.
And very specific.
Yeah, I really would love to hear a presentation from a more established public art commission, like you had suggested, Truckee. I think that could be really valuable for us to pick their brains. It could be centered around, like you were mentioning, the trails, signage. This doesn't sound like the most fun presentation, but like a financial presentation on funding that is available to us as a commission to suggest to organizations and artists that come to us, I think would be really valuable, just knowing what resources are available. And then my last idea was, seeing as it's Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, and Julie Baker is local, a presentation by California for the Arts at some point. I know she's probably very busy, but I would love to hear what she has to share about arts advocacy in the state. So
Fortunately, we have connections to
Yeah.
her, and I just have to find something for Richard to do, and then he can bring her here, and I can send them to.
I know she'd love to do that. We are in planning mode because I serve the board of directors, which she leads, and we're just in planning mode for the Arts and Culture Summit that takes place in mid-April. And so Nevada County Arts Council itself will be, as part of Spring into Art, will be sharing ways for our community to get engaged, including dragging you along, should you wish it, to state legislative meetings in Sacramento when they happen, in order to push for policy change and funding for the arts and everything. So that's literally what Nevada County Arts Council does as an extension of Californians for the Arts. But I agree, I think we might have more luck with Julie in May, and after she's gone away and escaped for a week. But I think it would be great to have her come and talk to us.
Would the group generally be open to a field trip? It's always easier to, if we're inviting ourselves to a party, invite it to somebody else, so we could go up the hill to Truckee or to another location and meet with their commission and, pick their brain, so to speak.
And what about having someone like Mark Salinas come and speak? He was the fellow
I
that...
think Mark would be great if, did any of you go to the Business of Art?
Did you?
No,
did
you
anyone
did.
make it?
He was the one that led the panel I was on. So Mark's in Berkeley now, but he came out of Nevada, right?
Yes.
Public art program director.
He's like Mr. Public Art. He knows all about all the potential funding streams for public art, what the definition of public art might look like given different communities. He'd probably be able to speak very sensitively to what we have here because he knows Truckee very well. I think he'll be an excellent person to bring here.
I think it might also be good to hear from, I don't even know, I mean, there would be so many, but somebody from art, public schools, what they're doing for arts in the high schools, or I know that there's a lot out there, a lot going on, maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe.
A lot of it's the Arts Council.
So, well,
or maybe what's not going on and what we need to.
So Nevada County Arts Council is just about to, one of our grantees through the program that I've shared with you before called the Creative Core is a school teacher in Glenn County and is working with the Job Training Center on a new public art program with his local school system in Glenn County, and has done mural after mural after mural within the school system there, and is starting an arts council for Glenn County because it's the only county in Northern California that doesn't have one. So we could bring someone like him here to talk to us about that if you should be interested. Sorry, I seem to have the answer for everything or not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, I know that Sale High School is going to be, we heard is going to be doing up at the old, where the Cedar.
We can reach out to Sale and Forest Charter and Nevada Union and,
Wouldn't it be great to have
see what
those
they might
kids
have
come
to
and talk
bring
to
to
us?
you.
Yeah.
They do an amazing
Yeah.
amount of things that go unheralded at all of the schools.
They'd be excited, I think, to come.
If you
Field
want a good
trip.
cup of coffee, you could go to Nevada Union. Their student-run coffee shop is open to the public.
What?
Yeah. It's the old auto shop at the bottom of the hill.
I don't.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have a pool. They have a whole culinary school there. It's really neat. It's regular
Field trip.
classes.
We might even reach out to Bright Futures for Youth, and, they've got a new performing stage and things that are going on, so, I don't know.
And I guess just keeping it relevant to public art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm curious, Sean, in terms of the presentation we had earlier tonight about the art pavilion, is that something where Solomon approached the city and said, hey, I'd like to come talk about this, or did you approach him and suggest that he comes and does a presentation?
So he has met with way more than 70 people. Lisa and I have heard his presentation on, I think, probably all of our council members at this point have. And so he's definitely making his rounds. And so for here, that was just another, you know, place for him to share what he might be doing. In case if they decide to pick here, you're going to hear a lot more about it.
So it was his idea. He came and said, can I get this presentation on the agenda?
It was his idea to come to the city, you know, once he met with everybody. It's like, okay, this is a logical place that, you know, for the council to punt into, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, there's no like rules on it. You know, we'll bring you things if opportunities like that pop up. But for the most part, it'll be, you know, what you were looking for. Think too about field trips, not just to planning commissions. Curious Forge is a cool, you know, field trip. Nevada County media, even though it's not in Nevada City, neither is Curious Forge, has a black box theater at their site. We partner with them for chamber talk and TV stuff, and they're broadcasting this now. They're doing things in public art spaces. So think as broad as you want, and you know, let us knock off the ones that we don't think are fair. Or you can stop talking and go home, whatever you like.
Well, just, I wonder, you know, beyond like field trips and things coming to us and presentations and kind of like immediate action items, is there an intent for this body to do more like strategic planning around like what we consider public art, what the priorities are, how are we aligning public art work with what's happening at the county level or with the strategic plan of the city? Like, you know, not policy development necessarily, but like a roadmap for blah.
So not policy development, but yes to everything else. So policy is the council. And yes, and when I said this is the part one of the two-part conversation, that's the other part of the conversation. But
that's agenda
you know,
item 7. We're not gonna
that's next meeting or the meeting after that, we'll say, hey, what are the things that you would like to be involved in? Brainstorm that, and then eventually we'll come back and say, here's all the things you talked about. Here's the categories they might fit in. You know, public art framework leading to integration in the Arts Council's master plan once complete, or you know, whatever the categories might be, and then you say yes to 1 through 7, no to 8, and yes to 12, and then we start bringing those back to you for you to work on.
Great.
And we can bring you more stuff, but you know, there's only so many hours in the day, and I don't want to keep you longer. And it's better to have a slow ramp up and do a lot of stuff over time than to just dump a ton of stuff on you and you to quit. But
yeah.
So you got enough from us right now to get your list going.
Let's let Sean go home.
Okay, we do have.
But if you think of other things, let us know. You know, this is not an action item. You just send us emails. You know, throw rocks on my window. It's upstairs, right over the vestibule.
But public art can be anything, like it could be political theater. I mean, can we extend this to like lots of things?
It's public art, so as long as it's related to public art, right? So, and all things can be connected to public art, right? So you think of Cats, right? It's theater. So what they're doing is not truly public art, but their parade is, right? Most of what happens in the Nevada Theater is not public art, but when we put digital displays on the side of the building during Wild and Scenic or something like that, now that becomes public. So there's almost always a way to make it public, but that is the lane of this. So it's not going to be bands and bars, which I love, by the way. I still can't hear.
There's a question from the audience.
Is there a public comment moment here?
Yes.
Just to add to your list, I would love to get a better understanding of the vision for Seven Hills Business District in terms of public art, especially because that seems like a place where you can have permanent public art, and it feels like a really interesting opportunity. So kind of what is the vision for Seven Hills and public art? I think that would be interesting.
Are we part of Seven Hills? Like
Nevada City, yeah.
It's like Cyril Way in Zion.
So we have enough on that. I mean, if we can keep going, or we can move on to the next item, which is, I'm going to go around and ask each of the commissioners if you have something you want to report on. And so that Jonas will get an idea of how this works. We're going to start over here with Eliza. And then the staff can chime in at the end if they've got something. Do you have any commissioner report you would like to? You don't have to.
No, you know what I was doing? I was writing a follow-up email to Lisa to program for 9 a.m. and
Good, she's doing that.
All right, so that's her report.
So just doing a round table on things that are
We're
coming up.
just doing
kind of
if you
thing.
have something that's
Yes,
coming
of
up or
course.
anything we want to
Of course.
report on.
Yes, so within the next 24 hours, we will be sending around an email and celebrating Arts, Culture and Creativity Month specific to Nevada County. We have campaigns going on in Truckee and for Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District. Very soft and gentle this year, and next year we'll make a blast of it and include the commission as well. Probably one of the most important times of year for us in terms of advocacy is April because of the governor's budget process and the May revision. So we're heading off to Sacramento a week from Sunday and staying there for 4 days, both attending the summit where we have grantees that are sitting on panels and things, but also seeing legislators from across Northern California and shouting out for the arts. So there is a way for any one of our commissioners to attend those meetings with us, and we'll be putting this out on social media. There's a very easy link, and once you're on the page, you can see who's already signed up from Nevada County to go with Heather and Eliza to see Megan Darley or Brian Darley or any one of the other legislators we're seeing. And it's actually really fun. It's very gratifying seeing our legislators. It's usually very warm. It's incredibly speedy. Sometimes they only have 6 minutes. And so we have to have our script like that. And we lead that usually so that everyone feels very comfortable. And it's just it's a worthy thing. What else, Heather, from the perspective of, we're opening on, yes, we do, we're hosting Sierra Poetry Festival with a theme of storm and sanctuary a week from Sunday. You're all invited. We are also opening our next exhibition at the Rood Center on Thursday this week. You're all invited. All these things are free. So at 4:30 to 6:30, 4:30 to 6, I think it is, we'll be having an opening and giving a toast to the arts. And it's a beautiful exhibition called Breathe in Sky. It's an evolution of Project Wild Edges, but bringing it indoors. So it's got a lovely environmental theme and several calls to action. So we hope you'll join us for that. 4:30 at the Rood Center on Thursday.
Shannon? Nothing? Celine, do you have anything to report?
I was going to say nothing, but I figured I would at least say that we are getting closer and closer, we as in the Onyx Theater, getting closer and closer to having our proposal submission. I guess I'm not exactly sure of the proper language for talking about Seven Hills for public art, a mural on the side of the Onyx Theater that would be painted by Sarah Coleman. So that's something that I guess once it actually comes to the commission, I will be leaving the room. But
The space between the two sets of doors. So you can still hear the speakers.
but that will be happening soon. So I'm getting really excited to finally see
excited.
something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We met with your architects, when was that? Last week?
Last week.
Exciting.
Yeah, Celine, that's so exciting. We're all just hanging out for it.
Yes, yes. Yes, I would like to share that the next exhibit at Ubaseu is open, The Story of Land, Water, and People. Some of our commissioners have already been in to see it, but it's free. It's open to the public Thursday through Sunday, 4 days a week, 12 to 6. And I really encourage everybody to come out and see it. I feel that Ubaseu is just a cultural gem for this town. And if you haven't been in there already, please do come in. The art provides a lot of education about the local tribe. And as I've shared the last few commission meetings, the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan Tribe is still working on their Homeland Return fundraising campaign. Tomorrow is the end of phase 1, and so between now and 12 p.m. in the evening, there has been a $100,000 donation match. So if you donate between now and then, you're doubling your donation. And the fundraiser is going to go through May 7th. So by the next time we meet, the hope is that the tribe will have secured the Woolman property and will have met their fundraising goal. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And we have Shelley coming along and speaking to that on the 13th as well. I have a question for you. Do you want to speak to the relationship to the amazing mural and the exhibition and the creative core? Like, what is that?
Yes, yes. So,
especially since we're on record.
Thank you, Liza. So the current exhibit, The Story of Land, Water, and People, and the mural that Eliza is referencing, the etymology of the land mural, was funded in part by the Upstate California Creative Corps grant, and the 3-wall indoor mural was
administered by...
Oh, the California Arts Council and the Nevada County Arts Council. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But Nikila Badua created the mural. It is a native language mural, and it's highlighting the tribe's new orthography, their new writing system that they have been working on. And it's just absolutely stunning, local animal and plant in the Nisenan language.
I mean, talk about public art. It's seriously gorgeous. Please go into Ubaseo. Just walk off the street. It's heaven. What are your public open days?
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 to 6 p.m.
I haven't seen anything else like this in Nevada County. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah.
Janice, anything?
I wasn't going to say anything, but I did remember that when I was at the Business of Art Symposium, I was there in the morning, so I was able to hear Tasha Golden speak.
Yes.
And she is just really good to learn from. And I do know that she is coming to SAC on the 17th of April, and I did want to remind everyone that she helps people through poetry and art, using it for mental health.
Yeah.
Really good to learn from.
I'm so glad you enjoyed that, Jonas. She blew people away, didn't she? She was our keynote, one of them, keynotes.
Staff, do you have any thing to report out?
I would invite any of you who would like to or are available to attend next week's council meeting on the 10th. It's Wednesday, 6:30 in this room. First thing on the agenda is the Arts, Culture, and Creativity proclamation, and the mayor would love to give that to as many of the commissioners as could be there. If it's only 1 or 7, that's great, just as recognition for their work. In addition to the Onyx opportunity coming in, we hope by the next time we meet on May 15th that we'll be able to share the project that will be a joint partnership with the county on one of their facilities, a mural project jointly funded between the city and the county. That will be an art. This body will help us figure out how that's going to be solicited and get the right people involved and how the themes will work, because it's the county's facility and they'll have some ideas, and but that will be a fun project too, in a highly visible location. So exciting.
Lisa?
Madam Canlis.
Join us for Earth Day. There's a street closure on Commercial Street. There'll be lots of folks that have booths, and I wish I could do it, but there's going to be a climbing wall set up. So come have fun for Earth Day. It's the 21st, Sunday. Isn't it Sunday? It's called Earth Fest.
Earth Fest,
And it's not hosted by the city. It's a Chamber of Commerce event.
21st.
And after the festivities is a movie at the Nevada Theater that the Onyx Downtown is putting on in conjunction with the Chamber, a documentary called The Velvet Queen that is a great movie for Earth Fest Day, 7 o'clock at Nevada Theater.
Are you
Nevada
gonna
City.
have a booth at Earth Fest?
I know.
To talk about that? Share?
Not that I'm aware of. It's something that Lynn will be putting out in more, yeah.
Awesome, because we're gonna have a booth, so if
Oh.
nothing else, we'd love to have it out the city. if you want
Okay.
to.
And the Nevada City Rotary Club will be giving out packets of wildflower seeds on Earth Day, among other things. So with a beautiful design on the packet. But I'm going to ask Vice Chair Negrete on the 10th. I will be in Los Barriles doing our Rotary Clinic, health clinics, and so I'm not available to be at the council meeting. So if you can make it, or if someone else can make it to represent.
Oh, I'll be in Las Vegas.
You'll be in Las Vegas, so do we have another volunteer from this commission that can be at the city council meeting on
Next
April
Wednesday.
10th?
If you can't, it's okay, it's just but if anybody's available, it would be awesome to.
Nikaya?
I love the
Nikaya will represent. Thank you, Nikaya, for doing that.
Yes, yes.
And I apologize, but, it's our annual.
Oh, that's.
And mine is for work, not, I am there for work. I'm not.
Mine's work, but we do have fun after we do, each day after the clinic, so. Is there anything else that needs to be reported? If not, we're kind of getting around to that time of adjournment. So I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn at 7:45 PM.
Second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. I don't think this needs a roll call, so all in favor say aye. Aye.